Well, alrighty, folks. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, right there, published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Got the gummy bears. I've been eating the cinnamon bears, so my breath smells better because we've been getting some complaints. On the YouTube channel. Also, we're trying to rectify one other thing, and I'm doing an experiment for this video and this video alone. And that is, in all my previous videos, you notice the focus comes in and out of. What I'm trying to do is stand closer to the camera for the beginning of the video to see if it stays in focus on me. Halfway through the video, I will move back and see if we get that in and out of focus problem going again. This is kind of experiment. Hey, this channel is learn as you go. You know, the production values so far have been super on point. All except for my bad breath and the in and out of focus. So I'm trying to fix those. We'll get to the review of the book in a second. But this is also an experimental review where we're trying to fix a few problems that the channel has had this last year. Let's talk about Battleground. If you watched my book haul video, you know I bought this Tuesday. It is now, Sunday. I said I was going to read it that night, Tuesday. Well, I lied. I didn't read it. I wanted to read it that night and get the review up real quick, but, didn't do it. Didn't read it as fast as I thought I would. Didn't even start it until, yesterday. Bad on me. I like to get the reviews up close to the time of the release of the book. This one, another thing that we will fix in the future, folks. Another thing that we at Durfee Productions, me and Pretty Miss Kitty, we will get that all fixed out and ironed up. Now let's talk about Battleground, because that's what you're here for. Jim Butcher's newest novel, Battleground. It is follow-up to Peace Talks, which is the follow-up to 15 previous novels before that. Maybe more. I don't know the number. I'm not a math guy, but there's a lot of novels in the Dresden Files universe. What is the Dresden Files to begin with? Who is Jim Butcher to begin with? He's an awesome dude. I know the guy. I've hung out with him at some Comic-Cons. We've signed books together at Bard's Tower. I've done some Comic-Con panels with him, writing advice panels. I've hung out with them at Superstars of Writing in Colorado Springs. If you guys are up-and-coming writers, look into Superstars of Writing. It is the best writing conference for new up-and-coming writers on the planet. It's run by professional authors like Kevin J. Anderson, Jim Butcher. I think Brandon Sanderson's taken part in it a little bit. Jonathan Mabry. I could list a dozen more, but we won't. Let's get into Battleground, right? The latest Jim Butcher Dresden Files novel. Who is Dresden? If you're not familiar with Dresden, why should you read these? Well, because they're bloody good fun. Dresden is like a detective, like one of those hard-boiled Raymond Chandler-esque detectives, kind of like Harry Bosch, Michael Connelly's Harry Bosch, or Robert Crayass. If you like that kind of stuff, just imagine detective novels taking place in Chicago, but our main detective is a sorcerer, a wizard, and he just goes and investigates supernatural things, kind of like the X-Files a little bit, but with a lot more crazy supernatural stuff going on in it than the X-Files. That's the basic setup to Jim Butcher novels. You can start at the beginning. I would not recommend starting with Battleground because you're going to be lost. There's a ton of characters, and in this book in particular, there's a ton of callbacks to the previous grip of books that are out there. And you got to read them to appreciate all the callbacks, but there is a lot. More so than any other book, which is a good thing for this novel, because this novel rocks from the get-go. Right out of the bat, we get Harry Dresden, our main protagonist, fighting with a kraken. We move on from there. He's got to kill. There's going to be a big battle over Chicago, a supernatural battle where all the supernatural bad guys throughout all of the other previous novels have kind of converged onto Chicago, and there's a big battle for Chicago, and Harry Dresden, he's got to fight it. He's got to fight the battle, right? I mean, otherwise, why are we here? If our main guy just, says, screw it. But he doesn't. He fights the battle, and we get all of our main characters that we've followed throughout the series. You know, we get Laura and Molly, Ebenezer, Sonia, Butters, Brady and Rudolph, and Murphy. And oh my gosh, just not really a spoiler alert, but I'm going to tell you, there is some heartbreaking, heart-wrenching scenes about 2/3 of the way through this book, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Not since I read the Dresden novel Changes was I just like, was my heart going, boom, 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 boom. This is epic. This is epic stuff. Battleground is epic stuff. The action is nonstop. Peace Talks was a little slower. I still loved it. The action is nonstop in Battleground. It's great. As the Winter Knight, Harry Dresden really struggles with, you know, his efforts to be good. I'm going to back up now, and we're going to do the rest of the video with me backed up to see if the focus goes whoop, 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 like it always does. Not only that, but you can see my wonderful, delightful John Cougar Mellencamp t-shirt, along with my Lord of the Rings tattoo. Okay, let's get going. Where were we? We were talking about Harry Dresden and his sort of inner struggle to just be a good dude when bad, horrific things are happening around him, when things are happening to him, when things are happening to people he loves. And he's got to remain a decent dude. And there's some hints, folks, hints of some deep, deep darkness. Not that we've ever seen before in a Harry Dresden book. And I dug it, man. I dug it. I love it when stuff gets serious like this. Because as you know, Harry Dresden is just this snappy dialogue, you know, quick-witted, which is a great selling point for the books. And the humor is great, spot on, fantastic humor. This one is a little bit darker than the others, I will admit that. And the action is a little bit more relentless than the others. From the beginning to the end, it's just nonstop. Just we're on a treadmill, guys, and we're running and we're going, and the supernatural stuff is flying at us like a comic book movie, you know? Just like a CGI, just explosion of fireworks in our faces. That's what's going on here, man. Battleground. That's what it's called, Battle. The first one was called Peace Talks. A little bit toned down. Kept things on a down low, right? Battleground. I mean, it's a battleground. Chicago is a battleground for all the supernatural baddies. Got to save the world. Our wizard detective has to save the world. And, you know, one of the themes of the book, are there really any happy endings? Are there happy endings? I don't know, folks. I just don't know. I give Battleground, though it's not my favorite Harry Dresden novel, it's certainly up there, and it certainly got my heart racing. I give Battleground a good, solid 9.5 out of 10. I think everybody that follows Dresden will love it. And, I mean, why would you stop reading at this point? You just might as well go get this.